no 3 times, we're going to have a problem.
To me, I was so afraid of her. I didn't even want to be in her presence.
My friend is dating a guy I once had an understanding and response with.
Oh wait, what is understanding and response before we go any further? In America, your child leaves home when they are 18. To us as African, that's still very young.
This guy likes you, and I have been with him before. I'm not even going to tread that water. We all have come across those videos on social media at some point. Immigrant parents on the receiving end of temper tantrums from their kids who are either born or raised in the diaspora with no consequences for their actions, which leave us all with very vivid and scary images of what would have happened to us if we even thought of doing same to our parents growing up. Have parenting styles changed? Or are today's kids just simply impervious to all attempts at discipline? What is the account for the value slipping through the cracks with each new generation? Is there a way out? Well, we will find out on today's edition of the Banter Brigade. I am Adambi Bengo, and you are welcome to another episode of your safe space where the African Diaspora tells it like it is. From culture to chaos, from taboo to truths. This is a safe space where every opinion matters and will be listened to. So, before we get into business, let me introduce you to the rest of the crew. Hi.
Just like, hi.
How are you doing today?
I'm doing great. It seems like the personality comes to the outfit. It comes to the outfit. You look so nice.
Thank you. Thank you.
So nice.
Sam is always looking
Hi,
nice.
Sam. Meet Sam to my left, and to my right we have the adorable Vivian.
Hi.
This is Dimples. Hi. Welcome to another episode.
Thank you.
Okay. So I don't know. There's this expectation of non-parents not having too much opinion on parenting. So
I disagree, by the way. I
okay.
disagree.
Okay.
I disagree because, again, I have aunts and even friends, right, who have raised kids and they don't have kids, and they were like really amazing parents. So I disagree that people who do not have kids don't have opinion on how kids are raised or how to discipline kids. That's just, I think people just really take it really personally when maybe, I think it's this generation, because back in the day, right, everybody, the neighbor, the person passing on the street, whoever would discipline a kid if they see them doing something wrong. But people are just so sensitive nowadays with who is disciplining their kids, who is telling their kids what, so much so that if you discipline a kid who is not your kid, you're having to maybe the parents of that kid probably addressing you and having words with you with regards, hey, do not do that again. This kid is not your kid and things like that. So again, I do not think that someone who doesn't have kids cannot discipline or cannot be a good parent to another kid.
Okay.
Yeah.
But so now talking about like the today's parenting style, right? Do you think I think the focus on this episode is on diaspora parents or immigrant parents living in the diaspora with their children who were born here. Do you think that, as much as I know that some shifts has happened and we keep moving the goalpost, do you think that it's still very vividly different from parenting styles back home?
Of course.
Yeah.
Yeah, of course. The way my mom raised me is not the way I'm raising my kids.
No, I'm talking about today. So think of a friend of yours who's probably around your age group who also has children. Do you think, I mean, we all have different parenting styles. I agree. Well, I'm not a parent, but do you think that even modern parents or younger parents, not our mothers, do things differently in the diaspora versus back home?
Yes. First of all, the cultural space is different, right? Things that I would let my kids do here, I'll probably not allow back home. Or the way I'll discipline my kids here is not the way I'll discipline them back home. If I were still me, having the same kids back home or disciplining them differently.
Really, it'd be worse?
What do you mean by it will be worse? What do you mean by it will be worse?
Okay,
So I think the cultural environment calls for a different parenting style. For example, if I was with my kids in Cameroon, right? If my son does something, I'll probably have a whip somewhere to probably give him like about 2 or 3 and like don't do that again or things like that. But here I'm cautious. There is CPS, there are my neighbors, there's the police and all of that, right? I'll probably look for a different way to probably discipline that kid. And again, maybe just take away his tablet and probably ground it for a couple of days, or ground him for a couple of days, or refuse him his favorite snack for a couple of days. So I think that the environment calls for a different kind of discipline, a different way of disciplining a kid or parenting a kid. Again, it's just the environment.
Do you think that the environment being different and calling for things that could and should and can happen makes it, there's no comparison, but I want to say that, do you think that it makes it better for the children and the parents? I know I've heard of stories where people take their kids back to Africa, give them a whooping and bring them back. Maybe they're just myths, right? But no,
it happens.
Yeah,
it
okay.
happens.
So do you think that because you're conscious of your environment, you're conscious of the police, your neighbors and everything else, the social services, does that make you hold back?
Yes. Sincerely, yes. Because there are times when, right, you're in public, like you have kind of cautioned your kid, or make sure that, like, when we're growing up, you before you leave the house, your mom has already cautioned you, to go for the house, not chop, not nothing for day. You don't already chop in the house, things like that. And then you already know that you cannot go to somewhere and then you're seeing food and then you're eyeing it, or because you know that by the time you get out of there, you're getting a whooping.
Yeah.
Let me tell you what my son would do. My son loves pizza, right? And he knows that we've had this conversation before a couple of times, but he knows that I cannot beat him in public, or I cannot discipline him in public. We go to his swim class and then they're not sharing pizza. It's someone, I think one of the staff's birthday. And then the staff is having pizza. And then he goes, "Mommy, can I have some?" And the staff goes, "No, I can't give it to you if your mommy doesn't say so." And then he comes and asks me, "Oh, mommy, can I have a slice of pizza?" I'm like, "No." "Oh, but," I said, "No." "Oh, but," I'm like, I can't tell you no 3 times. If I tell you no 3 times, we're going to have a problem. And then he comes and sits down and he has a long face. I'm like, "You'll be okay." By the time we get in the car, I'm putting, "You should try that rubbish again." Yeah. And the thing is, he knows sometimes he would do that in public. Immediately we get to where he knows that nobody can see. He just says, "Mama, I'm sorry, I'll not do it again." Yes.
Yeah.
Because again, if it's in Africa, right, nobody will care because they know that you're disciplining the child, right? But here, you cannot do that because before you know, people are raising eyebrows and things like that. Again, the environment calls for it. People have overdone it, and then now reason why there is now caution to people not probably raising hands on kids and things like that. And but back home, they didn't need to tell you something twice because the kind of whooping that is coming. In fact, yeah. So I think that I'm definitely holding back here because of the environment in which we are and the kind of restrictions that we have with the way we discipline kids.
Okay, so if we take it further, do you think that because you hold back, you discipline differently? If you were to, and there's no scenario on earth where we would compare 2 children, but we're just using them as tools to get to a point, right?
Yeah.
Do you think that if we had a kid from the US versus a kid from Cameroon, do you think that one will be better behaved than the other?
Again, it depends the parent.
So then,
because their parents in Cameroon, that would it's laissez-faire with them, right? If it's the same, if you're trying to compare, and trying to have that comparison, it means you're having the same person, the same parenting style, and then do that experiment in Cameroon and do it here.
We're talking about the vast majority. We're talking about children in general, right? Parents in the US in general. So there's times that you wish you could smack your kid in public, but you don't do it for obvious reasons. Right. Does that leave that kid with, do they understand very well? So it's a style of parenting, right? One scolds, one smacks, one speaks to or talks to, right? Do they all have the same outcome?
It may and it may not. And I'll tell you, I'll stand in the middle with that, because there are some kids that would take it well. You talk to them and they'll take it well and they'll not do it again. There are some kids that you talk to and they will not. I don't know what conversation we are having, and then my daughter says something and I raise my voice and she goes, gentle parenting. I'm like, if I have to repeat it more than one time, I'd raise my voice. If you have done it the first time and done it right, and I didn't have to come and tell you the third time, I would not be raising my voice. So when you're saying gentle parenting, also be obedient in doing what they tell you to do. So it's not just gentle parenting. I think with social media now, and people just putting information out there, and they're just absorbing this information without actually critically thinking and analyzing the information. Sometimes they just use those words without necessarily knowing or understanding what you're saying. For example, if I ask you, if I say, I don't put this cup here because X, Y, Z, I go and I come back, the cup is still there. I go and I come back and the cup is still there, right? Now, the third time I'm telling you, I'm raising my voice and you're telling me gentle parenting. If you're taking it out the first time or the second time I said it, you will not hear my voice raised, right? So it's a two-way thing. And it's probably teaching them that, okay, gentle parenting comes with obedience. Yeah.
Yeah, what do you think, Sam?
Like we said, I think the environment too matters. But yeah, even at that, we were raised in an analog way of parenting, and kids now are being raised in a different way, digital way. So it's quite different, but the environment has a lot of things to do, and the workload here doubles, because back home you alone don't raise your kids. You have neighbors who get involved. If a neighbor sees a kid doing wrong, they don't need to tell you. The kid will come home crying because he was disciplined by someone who saw him or her doing wrong. And here, even in school, we know some of the kids in school. If somebody, he or she did something that they copied from someone or influenced by someone, you might go to the parents of that kid to follow up and better discipline the child. But yeah, you don't even if you know the parent, you can't go to them and talk whatever that you're supposed to talk. In school, they learn different things. The way you discipline your kids is not the same way another parent would discipline their kid. You don't know what they go to learn in school. So I believe the workload here doubles. But while doing so, we have to try as much as possible to know what the kids need, what are their immediate needs, what we want for them, and let them be conscious of their environment. And we have to let them know, even if we are in quotes not doing certain things because of the environment, we still have the right to do them. There are some parents who don't care. They will give you the discipline, then tell you, you're my kid. If you think you want to put me to this place, go to fine. But I know of a story where this kid she was getting overboard. So the dad has been telling her about Cameroon, let's go home. It's fun there, over there. We're going for holidays.
Vacation.
So when they got there, the dad took her passport. Okay, you're staying here for the next 2 years. Your behavior for the past couple of time have not been impressive. So when my sister calls me and tell me you're upright, I'll come get you. So
a lot of people have
some
done
parents do those tactics to try to make sure their way of parenting actually, even if they don't do it openly, but there's another ways that they do it to have a balance with back home and here.
Yeah.
Do you think, or either of you think, that there is bad parents? Not bad in the sense that they don't raise their kids, but in the sense that they could do better and they could have done better. Do you see a parent raising their kids or disciplining their kids and you go, that's really nothing, I know you can do better? Do you judge actions?
Yes and no, especially when I know the situation surrounding it, because sometimes the situation too will call for. Sometimes people will put their best foot forward, but kids will be kids, and they'll just prefer outside influence to you in the house telling them, try to show them the right path.
That's true, but you still don't think that there's just parents who are just...
There are.
Also, there are some kids who know how to take advantage of their
Yeah.
parents.
Oh, yeah.
Like they say, they know what to do at home, and they know, here you can't do me anything.
Yeah, I can talk on that.
I would rather
for
do it
days.
here and we go home, you kill me.
Yeah.
But I will do it here. So they are very smart.
Yeah.
Most of these kids.
Yeah, kids are very smart. Yeah, but at that, back to your point, right? There are parents who like, you look at a kid's situation and you think that they could do better.
Yeah.
Yes, because again, there are parents who think that first, like I tell my daughter, I'm not your friend. Like I can be nice to you, we can joke, but when I tell you clean your room, I'm not your friend. Don't be smiling.
So when you say
Go
you're
and
not
clean
your
your
friend,
room.
and then there's all this cliche of, oh, my
No.
mom is my best friend, my daughter is
No,
my
no, no,
best
no,
friend.
no, no.
Women give birth to male children and they go, oh, my husband, the love of my life, God has filled my heart.
The child being your best friend, as literally, or the love of your life, doesn't mean your parenting will will be on the negative side of the child. The best friend, your best friend is supposed to be in your best friend character. Your husband is supposed to be in your husband character, and all that depends on you, the parent. You have to bring the child up as your best friend. You have to bring them up as your husband. So if they fail, then you somehow fail. If they fail to be your best friend or have the characters of a best friend, then you as a parent somehow you fail.
So let me give you a scenario. Just for example, we are friends, right? There is a way that I'll talk to you that I'm trying to explain something to you, and I know that you would understand what I'm saying, right? For example, let's take for example, let's go to the nightclub. I'm like, I don't really fancy nightclubs, or I don't want to go to the nightclub, or I'll not like to go to the nightclub today because maybe I have stuff that I have to do tomorrow. I have to go for the entire week tomorrow and things like that, right? You understand? That's okay. No pressure there. It comes to maybe a child, and then it's like, oh, mom, I want to do this. I'm like, no, you can't do that. Oh, I want to do this. I can't do that. No. Now, the thing is, I explain to you as a friend because I know that you would understand me, and you have a certain level of maturity and understanding that you understand why I don't want to either go, or if I'm telling you not to go, I explain why you shouldn't go. You kind of process and analyze the information, right? Kids, they have their reason why they want to go. You know better. You're telling them not to go. So that friendship, there's no way you bring your child to an equal level of your friend who is like, it won't work.
Yeah,
it won't work.
And also, I believe we should also let them know the levels of our discipline. For example, if you have a child, the child should know, like you said, if you tell him, don't touch that thing one time in this tone, he knows, okay, maybe it's not that serious. When you change the tone, don't touch that thing. He knows, okay, at this point I have to stop, because if I don't stop, something else will come.
Happen,
And another thing, I feel like some parents are trying to live their lives through their children.
That part.
Yeah, some of them wish they would have been spoiled. Some of them wish they lived all that life that they couldn't. And now that they have kids, they don't see the long-term effects. They're trying to apply it to their kids, like, okay, I didn't do this, my kid will do it. Even if he gets, I don't think he will be spoiled. Even if he gets spoiled, I will try to fix it at a certain point, but there will be a time where you can't fix it anymore.
Exactly. And this is something, right, that we've had this conversation with probably people before, we've fought with people before in regards to this. You're trying to, this kid is probably not your kid, but you're trying to tell this person or this kid that, oh, no, this thing you're doing is all right. Maybe let's try to push this kid towards the right path, or maybe discipline them like this, and they're like, in America, this, speaking of America, no, they discipline that way. Oh no, I want to give my kids what I do not have. What about, okay, it's not all of the values that we grew up with that were bad, or it's not all of the kind of discipline that we got while growing up that were bad. What about some of those values that were good?
Yeah.
What about some of those, you know? So it's not just about, because you didn't have it, or because you weren't treated right when you were growing up, or you had it really tough. Now you want your kids to be, teach them. So the thing that people don't understand is the reason why we have the kind of drive that we have now is because of the kind of background that we came from. If we did not have that kind of background, we would not have the drive that we have now. And some of these kids now, they don't have that drive because we have given them everything. So how do they know what struggle is? So now if they get into a tough situation now, they don't know how to get out. Just take a simple scenario with a kid in the house. They eat and they just put their plate in the sink. They don't wash it. And then you as a parent, you come and then you wash those plates. Tomorrow you're not there, right? They have to go live with an uncle or with an aunt, and they tell them, you eat and you have to wash your plate, or where you have to wash your plate of everyone's in the house. Oh, you did suffer me. But that's just the basics, right? Of like taking care of a home and all of that. You did suffer me. And it's because he came from, or she came from a place where he didn't have to do it. So I'm like, And I always say this, right? Do not think about them now that you're here. How do you want them to live if you're not
In your
here?
absence.
So show them struggle. Show them like you can have. Show them okay. It's a good thing to have, but also show them how to struggle. Show them how to manage what they have. Right? Like my daughter will go. She has money. She has her own pocket money and all of that. But she will come to my makeup corner in my bathroom and she'll be like, Mom, is this still useful? I said, no, I bought it because I don't want Is this still useful? You have your own money. You cannot go and buy it, but you want to come in. No, that money that you have,
should
go and buy. Yes, sometimes you tell me, oh, can you take me to the shop tomorrow? Yes. And immediately I look at her funny. She's like, I have my money. I'm like, okay, yeah, let's go. Like you go and shop. Like she can shop and then I can like add her something. But I want her to be able to like, if you have your money, they give you that money so that you can, if you want to get something for yourself, save that money and towards that thing. Don't think that it's always mommy's money that's going to buy it for you. Yeah.
I think also while raising kids, we try as much as possible to raise holistic kids. These are kids who are
all-rounded.
Yes.
Mental intelligence, social intelligence, academic intelligence,
emotional.
Should be aware of the background and their environment, because if they're conscious of all those things, they know, okay, my background, you must have told them how you grew up. They should have that in mind. And when they see that you're doing more than how you grew up, they'll know that, okay, you're going extra mile to try to please them. They also have to be conscious of the environment. You see what's happening here back home, these things don't happen, but you were doing this because of this. All those things, they count. Some people ignore them, but they actually do count, because when those kids grow up with those things, it sticks. And that's why you see most of the times, African Americans, some of them admire kids. They don't know the pain we go through.
Yeah, to be able to raise them.
I have a friend who told me, just like you said about just handing stuff to children. There was a time, I think the child wanted something that was just totally unreasonable. And I was like, so you don't need forgive, no. He said, my friend, I born up you tell you no, yeah. Me and tell my up no. They tell me not to grow up, plenty and they were not born, I don't get tired, I grow up, I don't forget that. I mean, that's not the part that got me. You know, it was just like, it's my friend, she was not trying to hurt me. But it was, so she was just making the statement of like, she's overcompensating because she didn't get that, to your point. She didn't get all of that growing up, right? And then I'm thinking now, okay, we're talking about parenting styles. There is, like I told you about 3 levels of discipline, right? There's people that would discipline kids differently. I think that there's times that it's true that or parents are probably unnecessarily combative with children, right? I tell you that sometimes because you have a loud. I mean, you talk to me sometimes, even in the office. I'm like, calm down. Shall I calm down? That's your pitch. I know that. I don't get mad, right? Of course, your kids know that. It doesn't mean that you're tough. But then there's someone that will spank. Then there's someone that will talk like or softly to your kid. But I feel like in all of it, whichever one is right, there has to be. I feel like sometimes the lines are blurred between the right thing to do and the wrong thing. Or saying this now is making me remember, I told you about my mom and how she did that to me. So when we had that conversation, just unpacking about everything that I felt like I was bruised by or scarred by, she wept, she cried, and she told me that she was a single parent with no like family support. She's seen as her own in her family. She's like the mitra too in her family. So everybody looks up to her. She doesn't even have anyone that she can go to, right?
To ask.
Right. So now she has a child who comes to her from a man whose family has her hands all over her. She has to look like she's doing her best. So she told me that she was doing her best. If anyone had asked her at that point, she was not being mean to her child. She was not trying to hurt her child or scar her child. She thought that everybody said she was doing it wrong, so she had to do it in that way to show to everybody, okay, 90s are the beat the picking, 90s are the disciplining. I know they spoil it because not only picking. Yeah. So
I don't. Okay. So like, I went through, I think, the same thing that you went through with your mom. And my mom is a strict disciplinarian, and it wasn't just with me. With my other siblings, yes, and with probably every other kid that was in around her. She was a teacher, like the same thing. But I think that I kind of understood her when I grew older, one, she didn't know better. She inherited the same thing from her dad, right? And her dad's own was even worse. Her dad's, I could dare say, was abuse, right? Because, okay, you know, like when you spank a kid because they did something wrong. With her dad, they didn't need to do anything wrong. Like just for you, like he would want you guys, right? He want to take you to the market, right? He has a car. You are scared to go and sit close to him because if you sit in the back, he's going to ask, am I your driver? If you sit close to him, my mom used to tell me that they will sit in the car with their dad, like in front, and they'll sit like this. Because at any time, he can just slap you like, why are you sitting comfortable in the car? Can you buy a car?
God.
Yes. So that's what I'm saying. I can dare say it's abuse. But with my mom, like you would do something wrong, she would want to beat you. She would beat you with a lot of anger. Like you would not even know like where the anger is coming from. Like you do something as simple like my mom used to count my books. Like I'll take my books to school at the end of the week. She would take my like all my notebooks and she'll count the pages. I remember there was one time she beat me so bad until I passed out because someone, I don't even know who, it wasn't me, had torn the page behind, like the last page in my book, they had torn part of it and I didn't know who did it. My mom beat me until I passed out. Like it was a neighbor who came and like took the whip from her. So I don't know that she knew any better. She just knew that, for picking for being like upright, I guess for like.
Also,
that's
I
what I'm
think,
saying.
I
That
think
we need to strike some balance.
some of the anger that some of our parents used, especially if you notice, some of our mothers were more disciplinarian than our fathers, because these women went through a lot to bring us up. Some will sacrifice so many things. Some will stick their ass up just to make sure you get your basics. And they will see this same child that I'm trying to make sure you get everything you need, you're trying to go the other way. So that's why when they want to put their hands on you, all those things will come to their memory and they will use it to put it on you. So that some of
They are reliving their trauma.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I don't know that it was even, I and my mom had this conversation, but not like in depth, like you've probably had it with your mom. It's just like when my mom started getting like older, I'd left the house. Like she'll call me like, hey, talk to your brother. I say, Mami Buffon, you call me. Ma talk my brother. What's that
for you?
Yeah, right. What's that all that power? Don't go, you know. And it's when I left the house that I started reflecting. It wasn't out of like, you know, so they say Mami found the key picking foul, right? She wasn't trying to probably like you said, hurt me or anything. That was just her way of, that's the way she knew how to like discipline me to make sure that I stayed in line. And till date, right? I came to, like I left Cameroon, I went and worked in India with Bank of America and then went to the Philippines and worked with Western Union and then went to Ireland and then came here, same thing. It was a year that I could stay out of the house after 9 p.m. Like it still took me. Yes, like
you know, 9 p.m. is not supposed to be outside.
9 p.m. I was in 9 p.m. I was in my house. You won't catch me at the Commonwealth family. Like 9 I'm in my house. Like even when I came here, my house was like, oh, we got that passy. I'm like, okay. Like, well, they go by 11 o'clock. Yeah, by 11 o'clock. So I started forcing him and we'll go and we'll she don't for they know nothing. And we'll sit like in the hall, there's nobody for
at 9 o'clock.
9 o'clock, long hours, there's nobody. And then by 11, I'm like, it don't overlate.
Eastern time.
That's when people are coming in. So it's taken me years and years to really get comfortable in staying out like that. And it's because of the kind of background and discipline that I have. Yeah.
Yeah, it can really scar people. Mine actually made me like not go close to her. So I used to go a lot when I was younger, but when I was older, I kind of shifted. I pulled away so much that it was actually my friend Miss that intervened a little. So Miss got close to her now, and Miss is discovering this very lively woman. She was also a young mom, right? There's a petite sœur when she's walking down the street, Miss and everything. So they build this bond. They're talking about stuff, right? She can open up to her, and then she comes to my mommy, really cool. I'm like, no, they say mommy. I liked her for the things she gave to me. So she spoiled me in her own way, right? But the relationship where I could talk to her, I could open up, or we could just be friends. Even when I was in Douala, when she would go to work, I would stay at home. By the time she's coming back, I'm just either pretending to be asleep because I wouldn't want to be awake to have a conversation. Because also, like the wrongest thing would be like pap on me. So it pushed me away to a point where when we had that conversation, the thing that happened was really bad. She was going through an operation. She had fibroids, which is also one of the reasons why I'm an only child. She had fibroids, and hers was so bad that they had to take off her womb. Right? She was really young. She was in her 30s. But I was also young. I was a little teenage girl.
Sure,
I had just passed my ordinary level. Right? My brain had not fully developed, to be fair. But so she's going through surgery, she's booked and everything, and I have to go be with her at the hospital. First of all, I hate hospital. I feel like I'll be germaphobe, so I just feel like the whole place will kill me. But I had to go be there with her, and then we how they call and check out, how they call that till they come out, discharge and go home. Right? I ran away from home. She comes to London to spend a few days with her family before the operation, and I ran away. So this is my mom. Like, now that I'm grown and I'm a woman and I've actually been there, had that journey, and then imagining your kid abandoning you, I didn't grasp it. To me, I was so afraid of her. I didn't even want to be in her presence, right? So then she told me, she kept crying and telling me that I hurt her. I'm like, I hurt you how? So one day now, when she finally told me how she thinks that I never properly asked for forgiveness and for what I did, and she doesn't even know why I would do it to her, like I'm her only child. Yeah. So then I sat her down now, and it was when I told her. So right now, if you see us, like, we're like that. I mean, I'm mature now, I grew up, but I feel like, yeah, she was learning, and there's a lot of parents out there who are learning too, right? But unnecessarily just being so difficult, so hard to a child, I feel like it can scar a child, and it will really, yes, she's not my best friend. There's things I tell people that I don't tell her. It's not gonna bring you closer to the child, but it's gonna push you away where your child could mess up and do something like what I did.
And that's true, right? Because I think, like you said, striking a balance between being the strict disciplinarian and then being also like casual enough that you can have a conversation with your child, and they can be comfortable in telling you if something is going wrong. Like, again, raising boys in America, it's tough. So I do not go easy with, again, I have 4 boys. So I do not go easy when, especially the younger ones, when I have to like discipline them and things like that. But also, I want to like be able to have a conversation with them. Like, okay, if something is happening, like I think 2 days ago, Zuria wasn't feeling okay. And I noticed, because he's always bubbly and all of that, I noticed it was so cold. Jason had come back from school and Jason had left. Jason had gone back to college. And then the day that Jason was leaving, he was crying. I'm like, why? It's like, oh, I miss Jason already. So I was like, well, he has to go back to school. And then I'm like, okay, maybe it's going to go away. And then 2 days later, he's still very moody and still really, he's just carrying himself around. And then I call him. No, I don't call him. I'm in my room. I think I was watching a movie, and then he comes and then he sits on the bed. Mommy, can I talk to you? I'm like, yeah. And then I'm like,
Zuriel.
Yeah, Zuriel. I'm like, what's happening? He's like, I feel like nobody wants to play with me. I'm like, what happened? He's like, oh, Zian is there. I want to play with him. He doesn't want to play with me. And I still miss Jason. No. And then he goes, and then he says, and I'm like, but what's happening to your tablet? Like, I'm bored. I don't want to watch it anymore. And I'm like, but you've been moody for the couple of days. What's wrong? It's like, I still miss Jason. Like, okay, can we call him? So and then I call him. But if I didn't have like that, I had not created that space where he could feel comfortable to come and talk to me, he'll probably just lock himself somewhere and just cry. So now,
So we're saying all this, right?
Yeah.
But think of a scenario. You and I were talking about it 2 days ago when Toke Makinwa announced her pregnancy.
Yes, pregnancy. Yeah.
And they were talking about other people's journeys and stuff. And you told me about some naming ceremony.
That happened like a couple ago.
Okay. So, and they were talking about my own potential child, right? Or future child. Now, when you have gone through a journey, I mean, you suffer too, right?
Yeah.
When you have been through so much and you have tried so much, and then you finally have that child. I know that we cannot, I mean, we don't want to spoil the child, right? But to even just scratch a hair on their head, do you judge? I was even saying that I think kind of when you see picking the name, then say thank God. You the one that you see people they say, and then thank God. You need to understand.
Let me come in there. I'll go with the Toke Makinwa's example that he used. We know what she went through. We know she's somebody who is vocal. We'll talk about her stuff. So we know how her experience with men. She always said them, how some men treat her, how what she talked about men. If she is having a boy child, do you think she'll want to jeopardize the upbringing of that child for that boy child to be like the men that came her way?
A lot of mothers fail though, because they keep saying men are trash, men are trash. But now on the flip side, I like when I see that raise your sons to be the man that you want. So it is hard to strike that balance. As humans, we are inherently selfish and biased, right? I'll judge Sam, but I have a brother, right? I'll judge your husband, but I also have a husband, right? So we're judging other people like that, but in-house, we're not cleaning. So I don't think that because people go through that journey, if anything, I'm telling you, Toke Makinwa, much like me, is going to be, or maybe not, hopefully not, right? But a lot of people, the trend is that they tend to spoil those children, give them those nice thank God names. Those are my favorite names these days. You know, you understand? And then just don't scratch a hair on their head and things like that. They don't think that, let me be the example of the man that I was looking for in this journey of life.
So let's not even talk about, like, let's just completely remove gender out of the equation, right? So do you think, would you want, okay, now let's say we know your journey, right? Now you find you get a child, you have a child. Do you think you would want that child, let's say fast forward in the future, you're looking at that child 18 years from now, how would you want that child to be?
Of course, I want the child to be perfect. I want the child to be very responsible. I want the child to be disciplined.
Yeah. So that is what you look at when
it is hard to think at that point.
It is easy to think. I think you are just so, and I think Ada, you're just saying this now because you're not there. Because I've seen you're very soft with the way you discipline kids, but you do it, right? And I don't think you're going to be that one, not scratchy hair, things like that. No, I don't think you're going to be that. But you're also not going to be that person who would maybe spank a kid too hard because they know you are in the middle. I don't think you're going to change because you have gone through a difficult journey to get there.
Okay,
I don't think so.
Lucky me, yay me.
Even
but
at that,
judge the people that do it.
Yes, I will.
I mean, this is my growth, right? Where I'm like, I am not judging it.
No, I will.
I want us to look at it at the age range of that solid foundation of discipline, because I believe there's a particular age range where if that those morals you're trying to implement on the child, if they stick, it will carry them throughout.
Yes,
for
you have
example,
to build a solid foundation.
For example, like I said, I lost my parents at a very early age, and due to the solid foundation that was instilled in us, we grew with that from 15 years till today. We lived with uncles, aunties, other relatives, and throughout my life, there's no house that I lived that will put a law that you should come back at 8. When you go out, you're free to come back whenever you come. But because of the foundation
that you have,
it carried me to, and same with my siblings. Like, we were 5 of us, none is a prostitute, none is a thief. Everybody tried to live a decent life till adulthood. So at what age? We should try to know the age range where those things do stick when they get into the child.
I think.
And aren't we also blaming adults, right? So what age? They're younger, we feel them, right? We feel them in. And then they get older, they become a product of what we had already, planted. Then now, as adults, fix yourself now. Is that a thing to ask of children or people like that? Because I know of adults, right? I don't like me for wash clothes. I don't like me for clean house. I don't be doing this. They don't like staying with people. Everybody that is staying with this doesn't like them.
But did they have that base though?
They didn't. So the parents,
that's the thing.
In my opinion, I don't think that. I think they were spoiled from a place of love, right? They were spoiled growing up, but they're now mature adults and they don't even know basic human skills to survive.
To
I think
survive, exactly.
parenting never stops as far as the parent is alive.
Yeah.
There
Yeah.
are things that if you want to do now, even if you think as an adult you're supposed to do them, if your mom calls you and tells you don't do them, you won't do them. So some parents might fail at the early stage, but pick up with time.
Again, to me, right, the foundation is very essential. Because when you say pick up, right, the reason why the foundation is very essential is because at that point, right, there's a lot of things that the kids depend on, that the kids will look to you to kind of get, right, where they already know that my opinion doesn't count here and things like that. It's mommy, it's daddy, or it's auntie. But when they get to a certain level where now they can differentiate one from two, and they can, you know,
Right from wrong.
Right from wrong. Now their friends, they know that there's also the outside influence now, which is not another adult who is reasonable. It's another friend like him or her, same age, who is from another background, another kind of upbringing, who is probably not same level of morals as your child, telling him, oh, your mommy said do that. That's, well, if you don't want to do that, you don't do it. I can find a way around it for you so that you lie to your mommy that this and then you do this and then that, you know. So I think the foundation is very essential because you may want to catch up and not catch up, right? And this is generally. In America, your child leaves home when they are 18. To us as African, that's still very young, right? So you do not have time after 18. You do not have the time after 18. So it has to start at a very young age. Build that foundation. When it's strong enough, when you still have the time when they're still teenagers between that age of probably 13 and 18, then you make sure that you're molding them to go out there and just challenge what you see out there. When we were growing up, the world was kind. People were kind and compassionate, and now there's a lot of evil out there. People are not as kind, people are not as compassionate. So you have to train them how to navigate the kind of ways. No, the evil now is worse. Yes, it's terrible now with social media and everything. Okay, just like growing back in the day, we used to know about fame men, right? You will know fame man then, but you're across your life, you probably know one or two fame man. It's one day you even hear, no could ever see them, right? But now with social media, you see them, you hear
People
them, they
are proud
influence
to
you.
tell
People are
you.
proud to tell you,
You listen.
and then you're like, wait, if I know coding, that man know coding. He just not that computer 2 times, so it already get like, then go buy motor, buy house. Why me I get was stressed to go school, you know. Before you know it, your son who was like in their room by the age of 5 or 10, they had trained themselves how to code and to do that. They're like, why do I have to go to school? Before you know, they're doing that same thing. So you have to instill those morals really quick and make sure that the foundation is really strong.
And also there are some cultural facts that help us build us and made us what we are, that we're trying to pass them on to our kids. And those things, we shouldn't ignore them. Someone like, oh, I don't want my picking be contribute, I don't want my picking those against them, but they are very important. You know, they're important in their upbringing, and they make them admirable to other kids. But there's another fact that concerning their career life. We as parents, the way we're brought up, like we said earlier, we're brought up to know that our parents have the final say in
when it comes to your career choice.
Even now, some of the parents, they're like, okay, I want my child to be a doctor, I want my child to be a nurse. But with the coming of social media and evolution of things, we have seen that there are other little things like passion that can make a child earn far more than what we want them to be. So while bringing them up, we should try and see if we can notice certain skills or talents in them that we can help to develop. Because that might be what we help to.
True. Yeah, and that is what I don't know. And I see that this is not even an African or it's a global thing, right? Which is, I really love that now. We didn't have that when we were growing up. Like even back in Cameroon, I see kids getting into dance clubs.
Yeah, doing holiday classes.
We did not have that. Go school. That's the only thing, right? But imagine that with the way we grow up, you had your degree. You probably, if you probably did not travel, you probably not have a job for another how many years, right? Just imagine that before you got to that point where you finish your studies and you had your degree, you're probably on the way gotten picked up skills like maybe kneading skills, sewing skills, or maybe makeup, or maybe some other thing where you can actually just use those skills, polish them up, and go and start up maybe a little business, right? Back home, it was school. You know, they go to school, it must be school, right? But now kids have the opportunity to like, okay, I see that this kid, I see you jumping left, right. I see you jump, when you get up in the morning, you jump from your bed to maybe when you go to gymnastics, before you know it, I push you in there, right? It's an extracurricular activity. You go to school, you're in the choir, you're in the cheerleading club, you're doing taekwondo there. So you're picking up all those skills. By the time you get to college, you already know, like in all of these 6 skills that I've picked up, I really know which one I'm really good at. You figure out exactly what you want to do and just polish that up. We didn't have that.
How much, we know some doctors don't make a lot a year, even nurses make, but imagine how much does an influencer make with a single post? You understand? That's enough reason to tell us.
Are we dictating this, or are we guiding them?
No,
guidance.
We're
not dictating, we're guiding.
Mostly guidance. Mostly guidance. That's the parenting style where I think if you have to, like, I would definitely really just crap our parents' way of parenting, like where they were like dictating to us, like, this is what you have to do, and just let the child now in this day and age just choose what do you want to do, and they just guide you towards that.
I have a question. Do you think that these children or these mature adults now ever look and say, look at, their friends and their peers and go, I think my mom or dad could have done better? And then I know that, or do you think, because honestly, the society is what it is today. There's people that raise children who are like cautionary tales, right? Scary. And then there's like people that raise children who shift the paradigm, right? Do you think that parents who see their children now who are older and bigger and fucking up big time regret their actions? Some just stay in that gullibility of, I like my pikin, I love you. It doesn't necessarily mean that bad parenting, because what do we even mean by bad parenting, right? It doesn't necessarily mean that every child who was not well disciplined growing up becomes wayward in the end, right? So sometimes they don't even feel those consequences. Sometimes if it doesn't really hit, if it's not almost a life-changing event, they don't get that they fucked up as parents. So it just goes on and continues. But do you think that something happens like that to either the child who was raised in their way, or the parents that said that let them go, I could have probably done better, or my mom could have done better?
I don't know about a child saying my mom could have done better.
And I'm only saying mom because we're not sure.
Oh yeah, parents. Yeah. Or my parents could have done better.
The lucky thing, the good thing with it is most of them now are so vocal. By the time some of them notice that, they'll come to you and lay the blame to you. So it's an opportunity for you to bring it out to them, like have a conversation with them. Okay, acknowledge.
Like that movie that I watched, that child almost killed his mother.
Yeah.
And then because you abandoned me, I'm like, you didn't even know that they abandoned you.
Acknowledge that I failed here, but it's because of this reason. We can work on it and move henceforth. We can go this way. Things can still work for you. My friend is dating a guy I once had an understanding and response with. Before.
Oh wait, what is understanding and response before we go any further?
Threw me off.
What is understanding and
probably
response?
had like something.
A one night stand.
I don't know if it's a he or she, but the friend dated her boyfriend. Okay, the person dated their friend's current partner.
No,
understanding and response is what?
He had something, not a relationship, but something,
like a one night stand, or
it might not be one night, it might be
like when like
not,
friends with benefit kind of thing situation.
So before he started dating her friend.
So this is a woman talking?
Yes.
Okay.
Before the guy started dating her friend. So they now live out of town and they are getting married. My friend wants me to be in her bridal train Should I accept? I'm scared to tell her I had something to do with that guy for fear of destroying the relationship.
But they no longer do it, right?
Yes. So
It's in
her
the past.
conscience is just working on her. Yeah.
What conscience?
What conscience? I don't get it.
You're no longer doing it.
No, the thing is, this is something very important. This is why some of us undermine the issue of bridal train. You understand? This is you bringing somebody who have had something to do with your husband to be in your bridal train.
So
But she doesn't know. She doesn't know.
That first of all, we all gist, right? So new guy, picture don't fly.
Right.
You understand? So if I show you a photo of someone, or if you know someone I'm dating, and you don't come out to tell me that you've had
The
a
thing
history.
is, the way we even talk right now, probably already telling me before I realized I don't usually talk.
Scenarios like that. I've dated two people who have been with my friends. Okay, the first one, not been with, let's say, a tapedo or a snatch.
Yeah, like
The first one was they kind of made a contact, and then this one is even funny because it was through me, right? So a grandfather of ours calls me and says, "Hey, they are friends, still they single?" I say, "Yeah." He say, "Okay," because that time I was in a relationship. "Okay, I guess my friend they fine. I want to hook them all together." Okay. So they get on a call. So I say, "Okay, I'll tell my friend." I show my friend picture. They actually send me picture. I showed my friend a picture. I said, "Hey, look at this guy. He's interested in you. He's seen you already. Are you?" She's like, "Yeah, I'll talk to him." You know, I'm not in that space where I want, but I'll talk to him. So now, I mean, we've done our part, right? The guy calls her, but doesn't like impress her, for lack of a better word, right? So she doesn't feel the guy. They don't build a chemistry. And here the sad part. The guy that's calling her, I don't know him. So the grandfather of ours knows my friend and I is a grandfather's friend who is a stranger to us, right? So that's why even his picture didn't mean anything to me. I didn't know him like that. So now, because I was a little popular around that time, this set guy, our grandfather's friend, knew of me. So our grandfather now is calling him to say, "Hey, oh, you know the guy Adami Bango?" "Yeah, I know Adami Bango. Where he called a friend to the river drinky day was on side, right? Oh, I want to hook you up with Adami Bango friend, blah 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 blah." So he's hearing, apparently he had a crush on me. So he's hearing Adami Bango and think it's Adami Bango.
That they are connecting him to, not the friend.
Yes. So now he calls and
the person that he sees is not Adami Bango.
yes, and then that's exactly what he says. Because he's high, he's drunk, or he was drunk. He's like, "You're not Adami Bango." You know? Yeah. And then the phone will say, "Okay, I know there's ways I'll speak to you or to you. They're different sometimes, right? I'll know how you receive things, so I'll put them differently." So when I actually talked to that guy, my friend, I told her that I knew the guy. I said, "So my friend like you. I know this." Well, that grandfriend will want me to like say, if you say my friend go shy for take a man from me, say, "No, this is the kind of doesn't have friend." So, "Oh, you're not Adami Bango." "Yes, I'm not Adami Bango." "Oh, okay, so where's Mbango? You're not Bango. She's like, "What do you want to talk about?" "Oh, sorry." And they just ended like that. It passed. He wakes up in the morning now from a hangover, and now he's thinking that he messed up. He's like, "Oh my God." So he's calling out to do damage control. So that bridge had already been broken. So now she comes to my room. She's like, we were staying together at that time. She comes to my room and she's like, "You say you know they are friends. In name now wait to behold. I do not know the name." I said, "Just come out my office. Just come out my room. I get meeting. So I closed her like that. It went away. So I think a few days later, she's like, "Oh, that guy called me. She told me what happened." I'm like, "Okay, they already fuck up you. Just leave him." So it passed. So fast forward to like I think 2 years later. Now I go to another city, right? And then another friend comes. Now I'm single. Another friend comes. "Hey, I guess my friend I think say wanna go match together." Yeah, okay. Wait to be named. He tell me name. Send me picture. Behold, it looked familiar because I sent the pictures to you, right? But he couldn't also because he
Place
also
the
knows.
face,
Yes,
yeah.
I'm like, also I know you, but there's a lot of people that I know that I don't really know. So I'm like, okay, yeah, let's talk, right? So we start talking and we start dating. This guy did not tell me that he knew. So when he got my own picture, when they call him and say, "Hey, we got a guy for none of that Adam Mango."
One time.
Yes, so he saw, he knew who he was talking to. He was trying to date, but I did not know. So after we had already gone through like 3 or 4 months, I'm telling now my friend and I are apart, like we're not in the same city, but I'm just telling her over the phone, right? My guy, until like 4 months later, that something happens that made me understand. And was the one who told me?
No,
The grandfriend.
The grandfriend.
Okay, it was a grandfriend. No, the grandfriend. See, so he's my boyfriend now is excited. My boyfriend at the time is excited. So he takes my picture now and send it to his grandfriend, to that grandfriend.
Yeah. So that didn't get away.
Exactly. You know, so the girlfriend is wishing out to sound like, hey, Mbango, the day my friend and I don't say we picture, you know. So that's how it was. So, but my friend knew, so that immediately I called my friend. You're like, guess waiting. You know the boy what the data now, so I don't want to say his name, but do you know who he is? She's like, no. She didn't even remember it. I don't know how she...
remember that boy that day when
Yes, I don't know how she feels about it. She never made it seem like it was a problem. So, because there was really nothing else.
Yeah,
I told it to her like that, and it went, and it was like that. So, the relationship didn't work, and that's what it was. There was no reason why I had to keep that from
That's
from
different.
her. Another one. No, I'm okay. The reason I'm saying this, maybe I shouldn't be saying all the stories, right? And the reason I'm saying this is just to say that it is a responsibility of the friend who does not want to go to a wedding or whatever. She had that responsibility or the burden to tell her friend that you and your guy, if like you asked, if there is nothing between them.
Them
Let
again,
me tell you the difference. Your friend never slept with that guy.
So what? I dated another one who slept with the guy.
People have the way their conscience
Okay,
picks them.
No.
So that girl is probably walking on her.
No, somehow wait. So, I'm trying to get why Sam is so pained by the fact that this guy is telling they were sleeping together before.
Yes.
Not now. They're not sleeping
Yes.
anymore together. Now the man is with her friend and he's going to marry her friend, and the friend wants her to be in the train. What's the problem again?
I think the girl's conscience is just working on her.
No, it means that she's eyeing her friend's man.
And
She has
Might
to
be, but her conscience is just...
No, but it doesn't make it. Okay, explain to us. Let's understand why.
No, because if you are no longer interested, right, and this is something that happened in the past, and there's no reason why
if
she
you
be
don't want
feeling
to
guilty.
say it, right? Even if you don't want to say, let's say it's just one of those things that you take to your grave. Why feel iffy about just being there for your friend?
Yeah, because now you're going to your friend.
Let's look at it this way. What if the guy happened? What if she stays quiet and decides to take it to the grave, and the guy happened to tell the girl?
No, they can have a conversation. And then at that point, she'll be to blame. She has a responsibility of saying, the guy has a responsibility of saying it. Now, she's the one feeling a type being around them, right? So she has that burden. If the guy says it first, good for him, he has saved his face, right? So if she's afraid of that, then let her have the conversation
with her friend. Or she can have the conversation with the guy like, okay, I'm feeling uncomfortable.
What do we do?
I want to tell her so that I don't feel like this. So that let her make a decision if she still wants me in her train or not. If the guy says, okay, I don't want to, let's forget about it.
Yeah, and if either of them changes their mind to come back to say, I think we should tell her, then they tell her.
But I don't think that friend would take it, because if this is something that was in the past, it's not something now, right?
People reason differently. People take things differently.
That is true.
There are people who won't want their partner's ex to be around.
Oh, okay.
Come to think of it, it's your friend who will always be there. And she will be in your birthday with all happiness, dancing and doing all that. You understand?
That's true, because now that you put it that way, right? I don't know if you come to me, if I do it unconsciously, I can live with it. And then because I know you as my friend, I know whether you like your man now. I know whether you can taboo, because we tell things to each other, right? I know whether you can do stuff like that. I know you. I can trust you in that regard. Because I know you, if I find out that you've been with someone that I've been with, I don't personally I wouldn't personally have a problem with you being around them. But
you think it's just a history?
But no, so history wouldn't bother me like that. If I know my man and I know my friend, and it's a thing of the past.
Yeah.
However, on the flip side, if you came to me, right, they say you stop it before it blooms, right? If you came to me and said, this guy likes you, and I have been with him before, I'm not even going to tread that waters. Because maybe now I don't even know the guy. I need to figure out if the guy is, we still have exes that, try to come back, right? I don't know if the guy is that person that's you left him for a reason. But I don't know what the reason is. But I also don't know, and I don't want to find out if he's the person that's going to try coming back to hit on you or things like that. So I'll dead it before you even arrives to say, no, I'm not interested.
But this is if it's still... It's something that is still brewing, right? Sam is saying that it's got to the point where they want to get married. now.
That's what I'm saying. That no, I agree with that. I'm just giving you a scenario of when that would be a problem to me. On a normal day, it wouldn't be a problem. It'd be a problem to me if you just come to me and say, "Hey, so my ex-boyfriend wants you." First of all, I'll feel like you're giving me a hand down.
Yeah,
you know,
it doesn't even sound right.
Yeah.
But if it's something that is a coincidence, right?
Exactly.
Like I'm saying before you watch me, say, "Hey, I don't know." Like, okay, because you have said that, right? But again, to me, right? If she's feeling uncomfortable, talk to the guy, and then you guys decide on what you want to do. But I don't think that the friend is going to. Well, again, depending on how you know your friend and how you know who your partner is.
Your friend, yeah.
Yes, she might either decide to, Master, I beg, that's you don't bother me. Or she can decide to, okay, no, I don't want you in there. Yeah, but I don't think it's a problem, especially because it's a thing of the past.
I dated another guy. I'm not talking about my dating history. So me and this friend of ours, we had our kakamba happens, right? And so we are not spoken for a month. Now I'm dating this guy, and then so I make up with my friend like 2 months after dating the guy, and he's like, okay, just me, of course, it's unpacking time, right? I'm like, oh, I did the guy, you know it, you know it. And they call it on different, they call it different. So send picture. God forbid, blood of Jesus. I said, blood of Jesus. I said, blood of Jesus. I said, blood of Jesus. Now wait, see. He said that guy not treating right. So now, of course, I take an angle for fight the guy. It kind of blurred my.
So you just went there with bias now because of this information that you have.
Yes, because the things like, you know me, if I feel like my picking the I feel kid them, I'm picking So when she was telling me from her perspectives, I'm not saying she was right or wrong, but when she told me what she told me, so that it hurt me, I was hurt on her behalf. So I went and attacked the guy. I'm like, you don't treat women like that. You don't do this, don't do that. It's over. So he begged and he passed. But we passed that bridge, right? To the point where we were planning a trip to Zanzibar with the girl and everything else, and there was no point in time where it occurred to me, or I even felt like,
maybe the guy now go get back together.
You don't pass, you don't go.
Yeah. I think Sam is not serious.
To me, if it's my friend, if I have to advise a girl, just give a reason not to be part of the bridal shower.
So she should excuse herself.
No, don't stop being her friend.
I will feel offended if I don't know the reason why you're.
No, after the whole thing, you can sit her down, because the thing is, let me tell you,
you don't even have an excuse.
If you tell her at that moment, you don't know how much it will affect her, especially as she's closer to her marriage. So
then just attend and not tell her. You've been actually doing everything else. What makes the
girl's conscience can't keep her. Can't let her do
for how long?
That conscience. Let's remove
she
that
had no conscience. If she had a conscience, she would have said it from day one. Did she just meet that friend? Did you just start dating and then boom, engaging?
The
fact that she didn't tell her friend that she had something to do with that said guy.
A long time before to that engagement and getting to marry. I think that is actually the problem. The problem is not her being on that bridal train. The problem is that from when this dating started happening till now, she didn't say it. I want to understand why that conscience is breaking her now. I think something happened.
Yeah. What happened?
Something
is still happening.
Yeah, I think something is still happening. It might. Because, okay, like Ada said, they did not just start dating and then, boom, they're engaged to get married tomorrow, right? It took a process. Let's say, even some guys meet girls like 3 months, 4 months, they're ready to get married because they know what they want, right? But during that 4 months, what were you thinking? Until the time because I want to maybe my bridesmaid. What were you thinking? Okay, from the time she said, I want to maybe my bridesmaid, say, no, mommy, something I want to maybe know. I beg. So that it may get information. So that it may decide whether you still want to be a bridesmaid or not, because my conscience is worrying me. I never know how to tell you. But this is what happened. And then you let her make you a bride, and then you're leading to the wedding. And now you want to check out because your conscience.
Come to think of it, that guy must have discussed it with his friends. And you know how guys like.
So it's secret day out and I come over and I want to talk about.
Either way, it's made decided you want to say do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're at time.
Yeah.
More than time.
Okay.
I think Musna was just enjoying the conversation. Just like
that's the secret.
Listen, I have a lot. Do you want to say any last word about parenting and stuff?
Like I'll still repeat what I said earlier. While raising kids, let's just try to make sure we try as much as possible to raise holistic kids, because if you have holistic kids, you'll to a certain extent sure that whatever the environment it is, they will
they'll excel.
Yeah, they'll excel.
Okay. Yeah. I think I'll lean more towards something that you said in during our conversation, which is try to strike a balance. Yeah, be that when it's time to be strict and discipline your kids with a firm hand, do that, but also make sure that you draw them close to you so that they're comfortable enough to tell you what happens if something happens to them, especially in this world where we are today.
Yeah.
Right? I remember that when my son was going to go to daycare, I was so scared. I wanted him to be able to talk before he could go to daycare because I wanted him to be able to, if something happened, I wanted him to be able to come and tell me, oh, mommy, this happened, so that I can address it. I don't want a situation where I'm guessing if this is no. And each day my son went to school, I didn't even need to ask him, oh, mommy, the teacher hit me on my back. The thing is, I was already ready to fight. And then she's like, oh, I was burping. I'm like, you have to start from there. Yes, you have to start from I was burping there. Don't go and start with the teacher hit me on my back. Yeah, so I think try to strike a balance where you still have that open door where the child can come and like you guys have a conversation, a heart-to-heart conversation, but also be firm when you need to be. Yeah.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
That is it for today on parenting styles. Essentially, just raise your children, or raise your blood pressure, like I did my mom's.
Oh, yeah.
We'll see you next week for more real talk, real banter, real stories. Subscribe to our YouTube channel, follow us on social media, send us your confessionals. They're juicy, they're amazing, they're giving us a life. We will see you next week.
Bye.
Bye.